Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Kay Unscripted. I am your girl Kay, and today we're recapping Love is Blind Season 10, Episode 7. Now, before I get into this recap, I really didn't want to stop recapping this season of Love is Blind. Like I said in my previous video, I'm actually just dealing with real life right now, a passing of a family member of mine, but I really wanted to continue with the recaps. So please bear with me if I don't sound like my normal self, but I'm still going to be recapping Love is Blind and the Traitors. So look out for that recap as well. So before we get into this recap, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. So episode 7 begins with a continuation of the conversation between Devil and Brittany. We hear what it looks like her speaking to a producer, saying that he should have went home when he got news that his grandfather passed away. And just like I thought, he was probably holding that against her, because remember he did say in the pods if he's going to stay it has to be worthwhile, right? He was probably holding that against her, that he continued the process hoping that she would be worth it, but we know that he's not attracted to Brittany, so he's probably somehow regretting his decision but not really actually being honest and upfront that this is what he's feeling. He finally goes out there and asks if she would like to speak, and the way she stood by the door, you could tell that she was kind of fed up, or kind of saying that she's done. Either you say something or I'm out. Now, I feel like Brittany should have let him talk first because he asked to speak. So I would have wanted him to express what he was feeling or thinking. But she, anyways, tells him that he could have just communicated that he's going through it and he needs for her to be a little patient with him, and that would have given us some idea of what he needs from her in that moment. But shutting her out isn't really helping the situation. He said he's vocalized that to her a couple of times, but I'm like, when, Devo? Because we haven't seen none of that happening. We've just seen you checked out of these conversations. She does say that this isn't the only problem that they're going to face. She asked him what's going to happen when kids come about, because that's going to be something that they have to deal with. And she's asking like, is this how you're going to react? And I don't even know how you feel about me, which are all valid questions that she's asking. But I am asking myself, like, Brittany, you really think that you all are going to get to that point? I don't think so. But after all what she said, all that man had to say was, this is a lot. He said he's sorry, and he said he's sorry that she felt that way. She starts breaking down crying, and even while he pulled her in for a hug, the hug didn't even feel like he really wanted to touch that lady. Honestly, that's what it looked like to me. The vacation is over, and this is the point of the experiment where the couples are going to be living together. We see Vic, and I was trying to remember her name because I really couldn't remember the girl's name. I done forgot about them because we barely even saw them, right? But anyways, Christine. We see Vic and Christine, and I'm just so over the phone recordings. I'm just like, Love is Blind. So y'all couldn't send one producer for them? Like, what is going on? But he calls his mom to let her know that he's engaged and introduces her to his mom. We see a few of the other couples do that as well, call their family members to let them know that they're back and they're engaged. The couples then move into the apartments, and I must say the apartments were really, really nice. Already, Connor looks tired of Bree because she's annoying the hell out of him. We're at Chris and Jess's apartment. She's letting him know that she appreciates how he's upfront about what he's feeling, because it's so easy for her to get into her head and think that she's the reason he's in a mood, right? And I'm like, Devontae, come here. Yeah, sit down, take some notes, okay? Because this is what you need to be doing, being upfront. And I wish we saw what it was about, but I'm glad that they're discussing it. Jess says that by him communicating these feelings makes her feel safer, and he says he wouldn't want the whole day to have gone by with her thinking that she's responsible for him being in a bad mood. I just want to say kudos to Chris for being mature and emotionally aware. We don't see that a lot on this show, so kudos to him. Chris mentions that he brought up Connor to Emma the other day and she didn't want to talk about it. Just kind of fills him in and says, well, when they broke up, she was really upset. And he's like, well, it looks like so much went down that we don't even know about. But I bet we're going to find out about it when everybody comes together. And I can't wait to see what happens, right? He's just happy for what they have and that they don't have any drama. And he's enjoying getting to know her so far. At Alex and Ashley's apartment, he calls his mom and introduces his mom to Ashley. And his mom was like, okay, welcome to the family, I guess. That was a really strange interaction to me. Now, I got it from Alex talking about his mom that apparently the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. His mom travels a lot and moves around a lot. So I guess for him, living that kind of lifestyle is normal. He keeps saying that he's lived that type of lifestyle before, but Ashley is not really used to that. She's kind of panicking, as she should. He seems like someone who just up and leaves and goes to any location on the planet and gets settled in like he has no resting place. And she, on the other hand, just seems like someone who's a bit more settled in one spot. And all I could have wondered was, is she still home? I'm sorry, y'all. I couldn't help myself. Now we're at Emma and Mike's apartment. They're unpacking. And we know he cannot deal with her mess. And she's saying she needs motivation to be productive. So he's like, get motivated. So, girl, you're saying that you have to be motivated to clean up your pile of dirty clothes laying around in the apartment? Emma, do better. He says he's never lived with a woman before, so it's a little bit of a concern with some of her cleaning habits and being a bit messy. And she says, well, actually, you do have some quirks too because you don't close the doors. And he said, yeah, I do close the doors. And she's like, no, you don't. So it's giving tit for tat. And they both agree that there are some things that they need to work on and they're going to compromise. We get to Amber and Jordan's. She shares with him that she went to see her daughter earlier, and the first thing her daughter saw was the giant ring on her finger. She also explained to her daughter that she needs everyone to meet Jordan first before she makes a decision, and that when she shared that with her daughter, she felt a little bit more comfortable with the idea. She feels like she's allowed to be happy and to be with someone. And while I agree with her, I just feel like having a child in this equation makes it a little bit more complicated because this person is a stranger and you want to make sure that this is the right person and you're bringing this person around your child, and that kind of takes it to another level in my opinion. Now, Bree and Connor's laying in bed. She's saying that she doesn't want a failed marriage and she wants to know that when she says yes to marriage, it's still death. He's saying that he doesn't go into a marriage even thinking about divorce, and they're both just going to have to give it their all. Now, she got a little bit annoyed because he cursed, and she also brought up, her background, I guess, coming from a background where her parents are divorced, and that is a bit of a concern to her. She asked him why he chose her. He says that she was so goal driven, confident, and it's so attractive for him to see her going after the things that she wants. He also says that her being direct about what she needs and wants exactly is what he actually needed and didn't know he needed in a partner. She said, when you know, and that's what she feels like solidifies their relationship. And when she envisions her life, she envisions it with him in it. Then we see Devontae and Brittany's apartment. Really nice again. They seem to be in a better place. She's saying that she's hoping that their connection works out in the long run. He says he's sure it will work, and even if it takes him a little time to get out what he's feeling, he is going to get there. But I don't know, girl. I don't know, Brittany. For me, it's really concerning. A black man who's never dated a woman of color is a little worrisome to me. That's just me and how I feel. She continues to say that they have a good foundation and that he's Christ-like. Brittany, what is going on? Girl, I think you need to wake up. Get up, go wash your face, and come back because what? I feel like, why are you doing all of the talking? Let him talk for once. You're always saying everything. Let him tell you for once how he feels about you and how much you mean to him. Stop doing all of the talking. The next scene is house tours day. So we're at Jordan's home and we get to the house and y'all, the bananas done spoiled. There's broccoli in the fridge that needs to go, but it's okay. We're going to spare Jordan because he's been gone for a little while. So it makes sense that some things might spoil, right? But why did they zoom in on the toothbrush like that? What is going on with the toothbrush situation? Jordan, what is this? Love is blind. You all know you're messy for that. They agree to what they want their dream home to look like because they want to have a shared space together, like their home. And Jordan does talk about wanting to have a home where they're not going above their means, and I definitely agree with that. We then see Amber's home and it's really nice. There's not too much to say about Amber's home. Now we see Vic and Christine. There's no more phone recordings. There's producers recording them at this point. So she's introducing Vic to her mom, Melody. She asked how they're feeling about being married. The mom asked them that. He said that he's excited and he's letting God take the lead. Her mom is saying, I don't know, it just feels a little strange that someone of your caliber, referring to Vic, would do something like this. And Vic says that he's shared things with Christine that he's never shared with anyone else. He's locked in at this point. You could tell that they're both so smitten with each other. Her mom asked how he felt when he first saw Christine for the first time, right? He said that he loved seeing her and what he saw was pretty much a bonus and knew that she had to come from somewhere, referencing her mom having a big heart because Christine has a really big heart. And her mom was really so kind and so nice. She was a little nosy, but not in an obnoxious way. But then she says, you're saying all of those nice things. I guess she didn't tell you the crazy parts. And of course, she's told him about her family history. He said, well, my family has crazy stuff too. They talk about it a little, but it's really nice to see that they're both sharing about their family history. They've been honest about it from the beginning. And even if it's not probably the most pleasant thing to talk about, Mom seems to have approved of the relationship. In fact, she said she knows that Christine wouldn't settle for less than she deserves. So she's happy and she wants some grandkids. But Christine definitely said that they want to settle in and get a home first. And then they could consider having kids in the future. And just when you thought it couldn't get better, they closed in prayer. We love it. And I must say that this was a really wholesome interaction with the family. And I really enjoyed seeing that. Now we visit Connor's home and your Breeze already pointing out that this man still has Christmas decorations up. The house definitely looks like a guy lives there. He did need to tidy up a bit, but there's not really that bad of a mess, well, except the guest room. But the house looked really nice, right? Now Ashley and Alex get to a restaurant. She tells us that he's meeting her family, and we know the father is about fed up with Ashley for picking the wrong guys, right? She is definitely a daddy's girl. You could tell by the way he walked in and got so emotional seeing Ashley. So let's get to this sit down, right? So at this meeting, it's her mom Jackie, her dad Paul, and her brother Pete. So let's discuss this meetup, y'all, because I have a mouthful to say about this one. Now immediately her dad says, so tell me, what have you learned about Ashley? And Alex is like, oh, a ton. And her father's like, well, what? Like what? Do tell. Now he tries to butter up the father by saying, oh, she talked about her dad, she talked about her family, and how they've made all these great decisions, and he's passed this down to his kids. Ashley's so strong and confident, and just the way she's brought up, she's also brought that into a relationship. She says that she looked for what her parents have in a partner, and she saw that in Alex, and was just waiting every day to talk to him while she was in the pods. And from the looks of that, dad is just watching, he's observing, he's taking in all of the information. She's saying that he brings adventure to her. She hasn't traveled a ton compared to him, and he feels like home. Yeah, I couldn't wait to hear the home part. Mr. and Mrs. Home. But her dad, on the other hand, was like, okay, now let's get to the real tea. What did you study? And he's giving this whole long explanation. You all know he had to mention doing soccer in his past and having all of these knee surgeries. But here's what I found interesting, y'all. He said that once soccer didn't work out or whatever, when COVID hit, he took the severance money that they give, and he's been traveling all over. And so that clicked something in my brain, like, so basically you don't have a job. Now, when I tell y'all, her dad was grilling the hell out of Alex. He was asking him a bunch of questions back to back. He was on his neck. Okay. Meanwhile, the brother's just eyeing Ashley. She's sitting there laughing because she knows her dad, and she knows her dad doesn't play these games. Now, Alex talks about his dad having three different families and how he and his father accidentally met each other. Apparently, the father had a family in the US, and then he moved to Australia. He created another family in Australia. And I think he said Tokyo or Hong Kong, one of them. I cannot remember, but I think it was Tokyo, that the father had children in Tokyo too, and he met his father by accident in Tokyo. How does that happen? I don't know. So her dad was like, well, who is your role model? And he says his grandfather, because he did have a stepfather he said was physically abusive. And so he gives this story about how his grandparents met. And while he was giving the story, he definitely made it seem like it was really similar to the process. And another observation I had about him was, where was all of this in the pods? Because we didn't really get to see any of these conversations with Alex and Ashley in the pods. And this is the first time we're actually hearing all of those things, besides Ashley feeling like home and being dangerous and all the sex talk and all of that. We didn't see any of that. But anyways, he says that his grandfather passed away at 67, and he had a 50-year long marriage. So while he was giving a story, Mr. Paul was onto him and saying, are you making this up? You sure you're not making this up? And when I tell you all, I screamed so hard because it just seemed too coincidental to me. The math wasn't mathing, especially when he said that his grandfather passed away at 67 and that they had a 50-year marriage. And I'm just like, so they got married at what? It doesn't make sense. The story doesn't make sense. But you know what the funniest part was? Her dad said that he was a lawyer, and that definitely made sense to me. I was like, oh, okay, so that makes sense. That's why he was asking all of these questions. Now, the more Alex kept on talking, the more it seems like a whole lot of nothing. It was definitely given that Alex is broke and homeless. He said that he's day trading and he's kind of interviewing for a position. He's into Bitcoin, he's into finance, and then he has this position in Florida, and then he has this other thing on the side. He could also do this. He has that option and he has another option. A whole bunch of confusion. Mr. Paul does give them some sound advice at the end, but I guess he was kind of just bullshitting him and playing along with the game. He does tell them to not go to bed angry, and he tells Alex, I see you're flashy and polished, But the rest of it, it's a no for me. Mr. Paul then says in confessional that he feels like Alex answered the questions really well and a little too well, and he doesn't feel like honesty is Alex's strength. And I'm like, clock it. That was onto him. That saw right through him. All right, so let's move on to Emma and Mike's. Mike says that he needs a lot of questions answered before he comfortably says yes on decision day. So apparently Emma was supposed to be promoted, or the promotion is pending, and she has two choices: either to take the promotion if she doesn't receive it, or she might leave that job if she doesn't get the promotion. So he then asked if she doesn't get the position and she would be job searching, will she be looking for jobs in Columbus? She said that if they're solid, she would do whatever it takes to be next to him. He kind of asked her to clarify what she means by solid, and she's like, well, I feel like right now we're solid. Emma, we needed more than that. What does solid mean to you? She hopes that they get to the altar, but he then brings up his biggest concern thus far, which is the topic of kids. He mentions that as soon as he got his phone, he saw that two of his best friends are having kids, and this is a dream of his. He said that he wants a family. He doesn't want for her to agree to have kids, and when they do, if something happens to that child, for Emma to end up resenting him or to be resenting her kids because she never really wanted them to begin with. And like I've said previously, I feel like if having a family is so important to you, you should be with someone who wants it just as much as you do. You get engaged to her knowing that she is still reserved about having children, and then you're still pressing her about it. Y'all had no business being engaged to begin with, because this for you is such a big deal. You know for a fact that you want to have children. She is not there, and she's not saying that for a fact. She wants to have children. I don't know, y'all. That's just how I see it. But tell me what you think, guys. This is where the episode ended. Please share all of your thoughts with me on this recap of Love is Blind Season 10, Episode 7. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.